Morning, everyone. Since we all are from India right now, so morning it is. So glad that this is my fourth year with Eric and this wonderful platform of Chennai Storytelling Festival. And here I sharing everything that I gathered from as if different beaches and these beaches being different storytellers and story coaches. I present whatever skills are very, very dear to me. I am Priyanka. I reside in Noida, which is Delhi NCR region. By passion, I am a storyteller, but the serendipity happened during COVID when I could not go to my ventures. I have a couple of ventures in Noida. I have some salons and some restaurants, and all of them were hit because they involved touch. That was the time I went within. I connected with international storytellers, Indian storytellers, different communities, and sharpened my skill. They say when the sailors can't go to the ocean, they can at least tighten their sail. And that's how I landed up introducing the skill to different schools, presenting my stories to children, and telling the teachers and other professionals how they can use this beautiful tool of storytelling in their areas. Tell me something. Is there any sphere which does not use storytelling? What are the ads that you watch? What are the movies that you see? What am I been doing for the last 5 minutes? Telling you my story. So the first story that one shares is your introduction. On that very happy note, let me have some 1 minute stories from you. Can I know your story, Mala, in maybe a minute?
Yes, of course. So my name is Maya. I come from Tanzania, East Africa. My grandfather comes from India. So we've already been in Tanzania for over 3 generations. And now I'm coming back to my roots to India and exploring my journey as a storyteller. Yeah.
How beautiful. Lovely. Rohini?
Yeah, I'm Rohini from Hyderabad. I am a storyteller, a writer from heart, and I keep penning down my thoughts in the form of poems and short stories. I consider myself as a lifelong learner. Whatever comes new in my way, I keep experimenting and trying it. And storytelling is something. It's a kind of calling that has happened to me in my post 30s. So I love it. It's a passion turned profession.
Lovely. See, within a minute, she's told about her attitude, about how she's a learner from life. So much we tell through our story. Jeff, can we hear you, please?
Jeff's microphone might not be working.
Okay. Eric, we heard your story a little bit last night. Can we have a 1 minute story from you?
Yes, born in New York City, and I've come to India to team up with goddess culture and help reform the patriarchy.
Wonderful. Lovely. Also, I would like to tell that I'm from the National School of Drama background. Being from the theater and being a performing artist, I like to do a fusion with the telling and with the show part of the story. And today, I chose the title of the workshop as What is the Significance of Senses in a Story? It is going to be participative, very interactive. I'm waiting for some others to join. I know it's early on a Saturday morning. And when the weekend approaches, already there's a list of work on our mind. And for those of you who could switch on your cameras and I could see, it is way more interesting to interact with faces than black boxes. I know Rohini is traveling, so not possible. How about the others? Maya, we would love to see that messy hair look. Yes, so Eric, I was sharing that I would love to make it very participative. So maybe if, I could see the faces or in case more.
Well, I think most of the people who are in the session, it's either a different time zone for them or somehow they're not presentable. So their cameras are turned off. So I suggest please just carry on. We're listening.
Okay.
So we want to hear what we want to hear. And as discussed earlier, you might give us little writing assignments that we should write about something for a few minutes, and then maybe we can share what we've written.
Sure.
Eric, will the participants also be recorded?
We, you mean if you turn your camera on?
Yeah.
At the moment, the spotlight is on Priyanka, but later we might go back to gallery view, in which case if your camera is on, then it would be recorded.
Okay, so I'm going to turn my video on right now, and once you go to gallery, I'm going to turn it off.
I'll warn you before we go to gallery view.
Thank you, Maya. I appreciate that. You look splendid. You look nice. All right. So the very first thing that we are going to do, we are going to yawn and stretch our arms. We let all the air come inside and all the stresses go outside. Normally, the coaches and the teachers say, don't yawn in my class. But here we are for a workshop where we're going to yawn together. And in case Maya or Eric yawns with me, means they're actually watching me. We begin with some sociometric exercises. It is going to be very simple. For those of you who have not switched on the camera, you could use the virtual hand. All right. And those who we are actually physically able to see, they can raise their hand in case the answer to the question is a yes. Right? Good to go? In case the answer is not a yes for you, you don't do anything. Welcome, Shraddha.
Priyanka, before you really begin, excuse me, I had to walk away for a minute to open the door. Can you, tell us the title of this workshop and a brief description of what this workshop is about?
Sure. I just did that. I would repeat.
I'm sorry.
No worries at all. I'm from the National School of Drama background. Coming from the theater background and being attached with 3 performing theater groups for women here in Delhi, I love to do a fusion of the stories with the interactive mode. And through this journey, what I gained was how closely our stories related to the senses, different senses. And we are going to together explore the beauty of senses in storytelling. This is going to be interactive and participative. And let me tell you, although I'm a facilitator here, each time there's a session, I'm left with more enrichment and a lot of learning. So I'm grateful, Eric, that this day has come and I've got this opportunity. Yes, so we are beginning with some sociometric exercises. It's a very simple game. Yes, let's call it a game because we have to lighten up. Let's park all the confusions, all the problems for a minute. We're going to handle them later as the day progresses. But for now, be with yourself. Congratulations, because you've reached here. You've left all your chores. You've left everything in the to-do list and you're here. So welcome, park your problems, and let's jump into the sociometric exercises. Whatever I ask rapidly, if the answer is yes, you raise your hand. It could be a physical hand or your virtual hand for Jeff and Rohini. If the answer is not a yes, you don't do anything. Good to go? Okay. In the last 1 week, who watered the plants? In the last 1 week, who ate aloo ka paratha? In the last 1 week, who ate Maggie? In the last 1 week, who called up an old friend? In the last 1 week, who cried? In the last 1 week, who looked at the clouds? In the last 1 week, who felt a flower? In the last 1 week, who got angry? In the last 1 week, who had a fight? In the last 1 week, who spoke with Mama? In the last 1 week, who hugged a friend? In the last 1 week, who ate a laddu? In the last 1 week, who checked out the stars? Lovely, lovely. Thank you. Thank you for being authentic. What do you think we were doing? Anybody?
Connecting with life.
Lovely. Shraddha?
I think it brought me into focus in today's session right away because I was really paying attention to what you were asking.
Focus, connected with life. Anybody else?
Staying in the moment, experiencing and staying in those moments. You took us back to those moments where we stayed and recollected.
Great. So one person says connected with life, the other says focus and bringing here. And Rohini says that I was living those moments. Am I right, Rohini?
Yes, yes,
Connected with the memories?
yes.
Right. Okay. So can we explore this a little more as we go forward? That the sociometric exercises actually make us aware that although the day happens and the night happens and the day happens and the night happens, but perhaps that connection somewhere is lost. When for the first time I sociometric exercising on myself, I realized, oh my goodness, although I like plants, I have not been watering them. I haven't gone for a walk since a long time. I haven't called up my friend since long. So as you people rightly said, that connection is restored. Let us explore what are stories. What are stories? Anybody?
A story is a sequence of events.
Okay.
It could be a memory that is being shared.
Okay. What
So
else?
these are all experiences, life's experiences, ours, or whatever we see, whatever we come across, whatever we remember, whatever they're all experiences.
Yes. Where do we find stories?
All around us.
All around us. Okay. Shraddha says all around us. Maya?
Think from the past, the present, and the future.
So time. The past, the present, the future. Okay. Where else?
They are within us.
How beautiful. Aren't we stories ourselves? We are
Yes.
stories. Yes? Right now, we are weaving stories, we are brewing stories, we are stories who are interacting with each other. How beautiful is that? Now let's go a step ahead. We've all learned a little bit of bio. We've all studied science in school. Yes? In the basic classes? Which are the 5 sense organs? And you don't have to cheat. Don't ask your children.
Eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin.
Oh, my goodness. I think she has some little one with her.
No,
Excellent.
nobody's with me.
Those were the sense organs that Rohini gave, right? Rohini, can you repeat for us? Eyes.
Yeah, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, and skin.
Excellent. So let's convert that into the senses. Can somebody do that
Yeah,
for me,
yeah.
please?
Seeing, smelling, tasting, feeling, hearing, or listening.
Let's shower some claps for that quick answer. So we are going to do one small exercise that could be oral, this could be written. As Eric rightly suggests, we could scribble them and then do the sharing. Yes, give me a thumbs up if it works for most of us. Since Rohini is traveling, then when we actually discuss, then she can pour in her thoughts. What we are going to do is take a deep breath and out. Again, a deep breath and exhale. And one more time. Inhale and exhale. Let us be mindful of our surroundings. Let us be self-conscious, be aware of this moment, not that moment, this moment, not that, not the one to come, this moment. And if you have a piece of paper and pen, do we have? Or mentally, think of five things that you can see. This exercise is called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We begin with the first exercise, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And authentically, we are going to scribble or mentally think of 5 things that we see around. Let's write. Let's hear. Anybody?
Me.
Okay.
I see my speakers on my desk, my cell phone, a photograph, actually a wall of photographs, post-it notes, and my dog.
Great. Maya?
I see mountains, trees, leaves, my curtains, and my blankets.
I envy you. Oh, let's switch places. Imagine, Shraddha, she's... Oh, thank you so much. Look at those lovely trees. She's in Lloydganj right now. It snowed there. And I'm so jealous. Okay. Anybody else?
Well,
Rohini, you have a different view there.
Yeah, I have vehicles, I have buildings, I have road, trees, and lots of people around. And me, myself, and my husband in the car, and the car, of course.
Okay. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
We move on to
Yeah.
second thing, that is, let us focus on 4 things that you hear. And anybody who feels, oh, it's so quiet, just observe 4 things that you hear. Is there anybody who could not gather some sounds around? Does anybody need help? Okay, let's go in the sharing mode. Eric, can we hear from you?
Yes, there was just a police car siren that came through. And my air conditioner is making some sound, and I'm actually, I'd like to know if that sound is coming through. But maybe we can do a test later. Shada, you don't, but you don't know if, well, you're not hearing air conditioning sound, right? So you're not hearing it from anybody. Good, good. Okay, so that's it. I'm hearing my air conditioner sound, but it seems you all can't, which I'm happy about.
Your ears are buffering it for us, Eric.
Yes,
Okay, that makes it 2. We have
that's all I have.
we have to be conscious of four sounds. Did you write those? Did you write them down?
Yes, yes, yes. Can I include your voice?
Of course you can.
Okay, well,
And
that goes without saying.
so while I scribbled, I heard my pen scribble it for me. I heard that
True,
sound.
that's true. I can also faintly hear my wife in the next room. She's on a different Zoom call, and I can faintly hear her talking to her Zoom partner.
See, Eric started with 2 sounds, but as we became mindful, we listed 4 or 5 of them. Isn't that interesting? It's just a matter of where I put my attention to. So we are building upon how these senses are going to be an important and an integral part of our telling. Can I first hear what are the other sounds that came up for you, Maya, or probably you, Rohini, Shraddha, Jeff?
I can hear people moving below my flat.
Okay.
I can hear dogs barking.
Okay.
I could hear bottles clinking. And like you, I could also hear my pen scratching on the paper as I wrote.
Shraddha?
Well, my cell phone rang and I heard a human voice on that cell phone.
Oh,
Birds were chirping
nice.
and there was honking. The cars were honking outside.
Great. Rohini?
Yeah, for me, it is the light background music that is played in my car and your beautiful voice. And then the vibration of the friction of the tires on the road and the honking of the other vehicles.
Great. I like the friction of the tire. You're taking your mind towards what is happening around you. Lovely.
Yes.
Welcome, Barry. Happy to have you here.
Thank you. I'm sorry I came late.
No worries. The more, the merrier. So we are into an activity where we are being mindful of the sounds that are around us. And although we feel that it's late at night or early in the morning, but if we put our consciousness to it, we hear some white noise, as Eric mentioned, of the air conditioner, or maybe an air purifier, or maybe even the laptop. If you hear very, very carefully, there would be a white noise. If you are mindful, you will hear the scribbling of the pen on the paper. It makes a sound. And then I can hear some furniture being moved upstairs in the other apartment. And I can hear some kitchen sounds. And although I wanted it to be louder, but there is a bird faintly chirping somewhere in the sky. This is the exercise called 54321. We just discussed 5 things that we see, 4 things that we hear. Moving on to next step, and that is 3 things that we feel. You do not need to get up from where you are. Just be conscious. Do you feel anything? Do you feel the socks on your foot? Do you feel some texture? Let's take a moment and we will connect. Do we need more time? Let's share. Let's hear you, Barry.
Well, I wrote that I can feel the hard table under my elbows, and I can feel the carpet under the toes of my right foot, because the way I have my feet, I have my left ankle over my right heel and my right foot is down like that. So there's a rug underneath. And I can feel the waistband of my sweatpants.
Excellent. Thank you for sharing. I could actually visualize everything as you mentioned. So your being aware actually helped create a picture in front of me. Your telling was enriched because you became mindful of your senses.
And Priyanka, may I share some sounds?
Yes.
Well,
please.
I want to share, I hear sounds of traffic because I live on a main road, but it's sporadic. But another sound I hear is a silence, which is the silence that tells me that the opossum that was getting into the walls by my bathroom is not here right now. But over the past 2 weeks, on some nights, there has been an opossum, and all of a sudden I hear tee, 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 and strange wheezing sounds, and the first time it happened, I totally freaked out. And it sounds like when I go into the bathroom, and it sounds like it's right behind it's kind of a plastic plexiglass wall of the whole shower enclosure. It sounds like it's right there. So I'm aware that I'm not hearing that sound, but it could start at any moment.
Barry,
Yes.
I'm going to ask the obvious question. How do you know it is an opossum?
I'm not sure, but I think I saw one out when I pulled into the driveway, running up on a fence, and I think I've heard, and we do have possums in this area, and I think I've heard that they are during the cold snaps, they are coming into buildings. So I think it's a possum. It sounded bigger than like a squirrel. And anyway,
I wouldn't even know what a possum looks like.
do you all know what a possum is? Yeah. In the southern US, we say possum, not opossum. But
Yes, I apologize.
All right, coming back to what we feel, the texture and the feeling part of it. Shraddha, can we hear?
Sure. The coolness of my floor tiles, because one foot is in a chappal, a slipper, and the other foot is on the floor. The clutching feeling of my headphones on my ears. And oh, yeah, the hardness of my splint.
Oops.
I have some fancy new wear here.
How did you get that? How did you manage that?
Oh, I felt the road. That's what I was feeling. I had a fall.
The impact of senses into storytelling is already growing on you, Shraddha. You felt the road. Lovely. Thank you. Somebody else? Rohini, Maya?
Well, I feel the air, the lovely cool air from my air conditioner on this side of my face.
Great. I feel the blank paper as I hold it to write. That texture of a paper, very, very welcoming. I feel the gold ring as I write. I can feel it on the other fingers. And I feel the warmth of the chair as I cross my legs and sit on it. Anybody else?
I can feel the heat of the hot water bottle behind my neck. And I can feel the softness and the cocooning of my Sherpa blanket, which is around me. And then I can feel a slight cool breeze around my toes.
Excellent. And as Maya shared, can we just bring our attention to how the feelings were different? There was a hard texture here and there was a soft texture here. We are going to actually weave these exercises into the learning. You are only sharing. So this is a very DIY workshop where you are giving the learnings. So as we describe, we enrich our telling by bringing in the textures, the coarse, the hard, the soft, the feather-light. She mentioned which blanket is it? Sorry, Maya?
It's a Sherpa blanket.
Yes.
You can actually see how.
So actually we can visualize how soft it would be. And I could actually feel like I could understand the warmth of that hot bottle, the hard hot bottle behind her. Thank you. Yes, Barry.
I have a question. I'm just curious because I know in English and in the United States, we talk about the five senses and we say the sense of touch.
Yes.
And that often locates things in our hands and fingers because we touch things with our hands. And that the word that we use for feeling, like to feel with our elbows, is such a broad word because it has to do with our feelings. And I wonder if that's the same in the languages that you all speak, or if there are more specified words for the kind of touch you feel on your skin or the touch of air. I'm curious.
Good question, Barry. So when we started with this exercise, we actually went back to our middle school, maybe class 5th, where we understood what are the five sense organs. Can you try? Can you try giving us the eyes?
The nose,
Nose?
the taste in the mouth,
Yes.
the hearing,
Excellent.
and then really the skin. Or
Absolutely. So you've given the answer. The skin. It is the skin which helps us feel. So when you say that you feel the hard desk, I'm imagining a wooden table under your elbow. Yes? So
Oh,
it
yeah.
is a feeling, and when we talk about the sense organs, then we derive the senses. So the ears make the hearing. The eyes give us
Seeing.
the smell. Similarly, we go to the feeling. And how we are going to actually include in our story is for the next 1 hour for us to explore together. Can we move on further? Welcome, Simi. We are at the second last stage of this activity. Let us be conscious and mindful and think of two things that we smell. Let's take a moment. Two things that we smell. Do we need more time? Done? Let's hear someone who hasn't shared. Rohini?
Yeah, it's the fragrance of the camper cone in my car and the perfume on my dress, on my body.
Interesting. Simi, is it possible for you to give your audio? Anybody else? Incidentally, there is camphor burning in my room in an electric lamp, and I smell that. And yes,
Wow.
nice perfume. I thought maybe in this workshop my participants will be impressed. Just joking. Okay,
I
anyway.
don't feel like I smell anything. It's strange.
No, come on, let's be mindful.
I went like that and could smell the flannel of my shirt, but yeah.
Maybe you could smell some fresh air. Maybe it was a green plant. Maybe it was some flowers in the room. It smell need not be a pleasant one specifically. It could be anything. Maybe you could smell something from the kitchen coming and reaching your room. It could be something. It could be a smell of the paper. You know,
I
there is
smell the computer.
oh,
Yeah.
there is a smell that comes from books. How many of us love that?
I love it.
The new book smell?
Also, old book smell.
Oh, yes, with all the nostalgia. How interesting. Okay, so Shraddha, which are the two smells right now with
So
you?
I smell the fragrance of my body wash. I just had a shower, so it's still around me. And after you said you can smell paper, I just whiffed the plastic of my pen.
Yeah. Maya?
I can smell the crisp, cold air here. And I can also smell the dryness inside my nose.
Very nice. Let's shower some claps for those amazing answers, Maya. Wonderful, wonderful. The air quality can actually be smelled. Do you agree, Barry? Yes. The moment you reach the mountains, you are so happy because you can smell the freshness in the air, the crispness of the air. You know, your without an AQI index, your nose knows that there is no pollution there. Am I right, Shraddha? Rohini? Great. Let's move to the last step so that we have more and more activities that have been planned by me for us. The last thing is one thing that you can taste. Barry, I need an answer for that. We have to be mindful. There has to be a taste. There has to be a taste. A lingering one from whatever last you ate. There has to be
I'm
a
ready with the answer, Priyanka. I just now had a sambar idli at a restaurant. So half an hour ago, and later on, I did not even have the coffee to retain the sambar idli taste on my tongue. So I'm still relishing that taste.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. I'm having the taste of Nutella, which I've been really dying to have. I haven't had that. Not that I had it for breakfast, but I have the taste in my mouth because I'm dying to have something with that, maybe a Ferrero Rocher. Who else? Is there a taste with us?
But I was eating a pomegranate earlier, and I could smell it a little on my fingers, and I have just a touch of taste in my mouth of the
Happy
pomegranate.
for two things. The taste and Shraddha. Excellent. Let's shower some clouds for Barry because he could finally have some smell. So it's a learning. It grows on you because you became aware. Okay. Now we are going to do a very, very interesting exercise. What we are going to do is, and Eric, I will need a little help from you. We are going to take some facts from everybody here. All right. And we can probably write them in the chat or scribble in front of us. All right. So Barry is going to give us a color. Barry, any color of your choice. Any color. One
Should
color.
I say it or write it?
I have to say, Eric can probably scribble in the chat.
Well, no. If everybody will write their answer in the chat section, then I can I'll do a screenshot of the chat section and show it to all of us when the time comes.
Okay, no. So what we need is, I'll probably write in the chat. Yeah, Barry is written blue. So we have one color given by Barry, and that is blue. Thank you, Barry. Moving on to Shraddha. Shraddha, give us one dish. One dish of your choice. It could be anything. It could be gajar ka halwa, it could be a pizza, it could be anything. One dish of your choice.
Khichdi.
Khichdi. Can you write that in the chat? So for Barry, khichdi is actually a mixture of some rice and some lentils, right? And they're soft. They're like risotto. Am I right? Okay. So we have one dish and we have one color. Moving on to Maya. Give me a season of your choice. One season of your choice.
Autumn.
Autumn. Autumn it is. Eric. One song of your choice.
Well, I just want to say about autumn, you know, I'm from New York, and we have autumn, which we also call fall, then winter, then spring, then summer. But I hesitate to use those terms in my life now because here in South India, I don't think those terms really apply to reality. What we have is a hot season, which begins soon and hits its peak in March, April, May. And then we have a rainy season, which seems to happen around October, and the rest of the time, well, all the time, it's very hot. So those seasons, which seem to have more to do with the Northern Hemisphere, are totally unreal to me in my life here. But I'm sorry, what question did you ask me?
We are wanting a song from you.
A
A
song?
You gave a beautiful song last night. I actually Googled it on YouTube.
A song.
Yes, you mentioned a song last night, and I actually.
I mentioned it's
Which
a
one was
sign
it?
of the times. Da 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 da. It's a sign of the times, and that was sung by Petula Clark in the early '60s. A very optimistic song about how her boyfriend who had been mean to the character was now apologizing and trying to come back to the character. Is that enough, or do you want another more
I
song?
just want that rhyme and rhythm once more. Na na na
It's
na.
a sign of the times that you would do what you are doing. I forget the other words. I just remember it's a sign of the times.
How lovely. The song is The Sign of the Times. Okay, thumbs up. Yes. Rohini is going to give one vehicle. Rohini, any
I love cycles.
cycle. Okay, so cycle. The
Yeah.
vehicle we have is cycle. Blue, autumn, khichdi, sign of time, cycle. Okay. Uh, one more thing that we need is a texture. A texture. So it could be velvet, it could be something coarse like jute. I need a texture. Anybody?
Brittle.
Gravelly.
Yes?
Oh, sorry, somebody else said something.
Okay.
I'm thinking of the texture of gravel.
So what would that texture be? Rough?
Rough.
Okay.
Rough and
Rough and?
rough in many spots, like not a single rough.
Rough and coarse? Rough and
Coarse.
coarse?
Rough and
All
coarse.
right, rough and coarse it is. So what are we going to do? We are together, six of us, going to weave a story around these senses. These are some senses, in the sense what we see, what we feel, what we taste, right? Let's have an interesting story coming up. Okay, who begins? What we have to
I
do?
would begin. I would begin.
Yes, you have to use anyone. Anyone.
Oh, not all, not all.
Not all. Just use anyone.
Oh my.
And we can repeat it. We can keep repeating the clues that we have for our story. Okay, good to go. We start with Rohini. Yes, Rohini.
So I need to use only one word from this.
Anyone.
But what are the
Okay.
elements that we can choose from? Can we review what the elements are?
Let's just begin. Okay, probably I'll start and then someone can continue and we can keep taking chances. On a fine autumn day.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Riding my cycle, I went along the hillside.
Okay. Let's continue. On a fine autumn day, Rohini took her cycle and went to the mountains. Then what happened, Shraddha?
As she was riding, the blue skies accosted her. Should I continue?
No,
Or anyone? Yeah, anyone.
And she was overcome with an unspeakable joy, which gave her a sense of adventure. And she saw a rough, coarse, gravelly path turning off to the right. And she looked at her watch and thought she had time, so she decided to go exploring down that path.
Then what happened, Eric?
And she needed to feel the texture, the coarseness, the brittleness of the gravel that was underneath her cycle.
She remembered the times when she was with her boyfriend on the last vacation. She remembered how those sweet nothings were so precious. And she remembered how they cooked khichdi at their cozy residence, and how that khichdi gave more delight than maybe a 7-course meal.
And the same khichdi that a granny packed her, the aroma tingled her taste buds.
And just then, riding down the rough, coarse, gravelly path, she smelled the delicious aroma of khichdi wafting through the forest.
And as she was going down the road, singing along the beautiful song, Sign of the Times.
How would that, Rohini? How would that go? It's not a fact. It's a song.
Yeah, I'm not getting the tune that Eric sang just now. I want him to repeat it once again.
It's a sign of the times.
Sign of the times, sign of the times, la 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 la, la 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 la. Reminiscing the beautiful moments at the cottage, by the mountainside, and the aroma of the khichdi, watching at the blue sky.
Okay.
And there was a beautiful bird flying through the sky, to the bright blue sky, and she thought that bird is a sign of the times.
How interesting.
Wow, lovely. Lovely.
And suddenly her spirit soared as free as the bird.
And she decided that she must follow the bird. And perhaps it would take her back to her boyfriend, where she could enjoy more khichdi.
She followed her instincts and kept on going on that path. She could smell that similar khushbu, that similar fragrance which was there somewhere in her amygdala, in her memory from the childhood. She followed that. She reached a cottage. And guess what? As if it was some sign from above, there was a similar song playing from inside the cottage. Can you guess which song was it?
It's a sign of the
Sign of the
times.
times, sign of the times.
And then she knocked on that door that suddenly, though unfamiliar, felt very, very familiar. It was like she was home.
And she realized that home is not a place, it's a feeling. Okay, let's shower some claps for everyone because we just created a story. And I would love to title that story Sign of the Times. Great. Thank you, storytellers. You are not just tellers, you are weavers, you are creators. Congratulations. Moving on further with this journey of storytelling and senses, we go a step ahead. Let us think of childhood. When we started the session today, we actually discussed, Barry, what a story is. What do you think is a story? Let's revisit that question. What do you think is a story?
Well, it can be an evocation of a place or of a person, and it usually involves a sequence of events, and it usually involves some kind of problem or tension that gets resolved, and it often has something of a dramatic arc. The word story has many meanings, so of course, but in terms of our work and my work as a storyteller, that's what I think of. If I'm working on a personal story, I try to evoke a place and evoke the characters and show the dramatic arc of what happens in the sequence of events.
So what I hear from you is that it could be a personal story. It could be a sequence of events. It could be something that has happened in the past, which I'm narrating now, right? So let us think of a smell, a fragrance that is probably related to our grandparents. Let us go back in our childhood. Is there a fragrance that takes you back to your Nanny's house? Your grandma's place? Would you be comfortable sharing? What is it? For
For
me, it's
me,
a dish. It's so sorry. I just thought I'll, get it rolling. It's a particular dish. It's a very non-spicy. It's kind of a bland dish that my maternal grandmother has cooked, and it is actually making me hungry. I close my eyes because right now I can actually smell it. Yes, please, Barry.
uh, my grandmother, I identify split pea soup with her. I
Interesting.
didn't like vegetables very much, and I didn't like peas, but I liked her split pea soup.
Nice. Is it green in color? Why do I
Oh,
imagine it to? Yes,
yes,
it
it's
is.
green and chunky, and often there are carrots floating in it, or not floating because it's almost like a stew. It's
So
very, very thick.
it's thick in texture. Is it thick in consistency? It's
Yes,
thick.
very thick. Thick, yes.
Do you know why it's called split pea soup as opposed to
No,
just pea soup?
no,
No.
I don't. Do you?
No, I was
Did
hoping
you
you'd
have
tell
it in
me.
your family, Eric?
I've had pea soup, but I've always wondered why it's called split pea soup.
Okay, I have a question. How many of you could visualize this soup as Barry shared? How many could see? Did you, Maya? You could see? Okay, what color was the bowl? The soup bowl?
The bowl is kind of like a bluish kind of ceramic-y thing, and then the
Okay.
green soup is inside it.
And how filled up is the bowl?
It's
Huh?
almost to the top.
Great. Shraddha, could you see? Could you see
I
it?
was picturing the pot,
Oh, how
not
cute.
not the bowl, and it was simmering at the top. And I think, and when you said the thick texture, it was just like, seeing the ladle kind of stirring it. I'm afraid I don't know what your grandmother looked like, Barry, but but that's what I was seeing. And split peas, Eric, I think it's because it's made from the hardened pea, the uncooked hardened pea, which is actually split. It's got two cotyledons, and I think that's made from, you don't make it from fresh peas. I think it's the hardened pea that you then cook.
I
That's what
just
I'm
looked it up
thinking.
and put a little explanation in the chat.
I could even visualize the steam coming from it, Barry. So, what we are moving towards is that as we involve the senses in our telling, it assists us in actually drawing a picture in front of the people who are with us, our audience. And how does the story become theirs? How do you gift that story? When they visualize it, because they start living it. Because Shraddha was there. She had moved a step ahead. She had not just been at the pot, but she was even probably imagining your grandmother. Am I right, Shraddha? She said, I don't know, sorry, Barry, how your grandma looks. Means
Mm.
she has an image in front of her, right? Give me a thumbs up if you agree.
Yeah.
Just imagine how rich your telling has become because you have involved the fragrance, the thickness, the consistency. It's not a lot. It is just the differences between show and tell. Rather than Rohini saying she was singing the sign of the time, our bodies were flowing because we were in the rhythm of what Eric gave us. And then Rohini also started singing and we all were humming. That is when you become the story. Yes? Okay. Now let's move to a rhyme or a rhythm that has stayed with us from our childhood. It could be an ad on television that we were not able to get out of our head. It's been 30 years and still it's as fresh as yesterday. There's so many ads I can think of. Hawkins की सीटी बजी खुशबू ही खुशबू उड़ी. Anybody? Shraddha? Rohini? मजेदार लजेदार खाना है तैयार. These would be silly poems. They would be silly repetitions, but they would just stay in your head because you've grown up watching them.
Yep.
Can I have some interesting examples?
विक्स की गोली लो खिच खिच दूर करो.
Vicks की गोली लो, खिच खिच दूर करो. It's a
That's for a
part of.
cough. It's for a cough tablet. For those who don't know the ad, Vicks is the brand. Goli means tablet.
I'm sure everybody has some song which is a part of their childhood. Barry, can you think of something?
Well, when you introduced this, the first thing you said was a rhyme. And what comes to mind is not an ad, but we had a little black iron napkin holder. And on it, it said, "No matter where I serve my guests, it seems they like the kitchen best." And it was in the kitchen, of course. And it was somewhat emblematic because we ate in the kitchen. We had a very formal dining room that we very rarely used. And we always congregated in the kitchen.
This is so beautiful, so much warmth from that sharing. Thank you, Barry, for sharing that. So that those two lines just stayed with him. How many years is that, Barry? 30?
94. 94 years. Yeah.
2000. Exactly 30 years. My, we are in 24.
No. 94 years. It was 94 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
I'm
What's your age?
103.
You can't have seen it. You can't have seen it 94 years ago, Barry.
I'm 103 years old. Yes. I've aged well. No, I don't
Oh
know.
my
You've aged
God.
hardly at all. Forget the well. We've left the well far
it was
behind.
60 years ago. Yeah.
A song that has stayed in, the number one song that stayed in my mind throughout my life is, it probably came out in the mid-70s, so that would be 50 years ago. It's, what do you get when you fall in love? Da 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 da. And then another verse is, what do you get when you kiss a guy? You get enough germs to catch pneumonia, and when you do, he'll never phone ya. I'll never fall in love again. Da da da. I'll never fall in love again. So I love that rhyme. He'll never phone ya, and I'll catch pneumonia.
And Eric,
Thank
I was somewhere recently, I can't remember where there was a musical theater person talking about, was that Burt Bacharach?
Yes.
Wrote that? And about that line as being just like a really fine bit of rhyming. Yeah.
Actually, thank you for bringing that up, Eric, because how we bring in the senses can actually assist any subject, any teacher worldwide to actually make the subject and the topic stay with the children. We remember some parts of history that our teacher taught in middle school because they built up a story around it. Because she involved that how the Shahenshah gave a rose to the queen, and then how it happened, and you started visualizing, and it just stayed that part. So Eric remembers the pneumonia line because of the rhyme and rhythm. I remember all the planets because it was a rhyme and a rhythm made around it. I'm sure you all will agree. My very good mother just showed us 9 planets. It's because they wove something that I could never forget the sequence of Mars and Mercury and Earth and Venus. Just imagine how we are using the tool of storytelling and then imbibing in it the different senses to make even the most difficult topics stay with us. You agree? It works with children, it works with adults equally. Now, as the next part, what I will do is what I call it as story lab. I would pick up one of the stories from my kitty and I would share it, not for the sake of giving you a story or presenting a story. I'm doing that tomorrow. Please be there at 10:30, same platform. However, today I will be using a story which in itself is very detailed. But what I want you to observe while you enjoy the story is what are the senses that you find in the story? Okay? Good to go? All right. Long, long, long time ago, before your grandma and my grandma, somewhere in India, there was Kissa Gautami, a young lady. All she had was a little baby. And she loved to cuddle her baby, the baby boy. His soft hair, and the tenderness of the body that came out of hers. It was as if her heart was running all around outside her body. And her days were filled with playing with the little baby boy and feeding him. But there's always a but in story, isn't it? One fine day, for some reason unknown, the baby stopped breathing. And Kisa Gautami could not accept that the baby wasn't breathing and there was no life. She ran like the wind to every house. She knocked every door. Somebody help me. Bring back life. Please, the baby can't go. He has to live for me. Everybody thought she had lost her mind. After 4 hours, she went to an old man who had been living ever since she came and she saw that village. Baba, this can't happen. Bring him to life. He's all that I have. Please. Baba could see that her eyes are now swollen with tears. And he said, I wish I could help you, but there's nothing I can do. But there's one place you could go. Deep in the forest, under a huge green tree, you would find someone sitting. Go there, beta. Go there. Maybe he helps you. She wiped her tears. Her lips had cracked with the dryness and the tears. She ran like crazy, the dead baby clinging next to her chest. She reached there. And she couldn't believe the grace under the tree, as if there was some light being emitted. And there under the tree sat none other than Buddha. She could see his lips that looked like half-opened lotuses. His eyes were shut. And she was bewildered with the calm and the peace. All she could do is offer some fallen flowers on his feet. Buddha, help me. Bring back life to my baby. Slowly, Buddha opened his eyes. The calm on his face settled everything within Kissa Gautami. He offered a fruit that had fallen from the tree. And Kissa Gautami had as if never felt the sweetness of a fruit as much as she did that day. Buddha said, I will do this. All you have to do is go to the village and get me a fistful of mustard seeds. Yes, I will. She was almost ready to go back and hurry when he said, wait. The mustard seeds must be from a house that hasn't seen death. The words really didn't make any sense. She ran. She just whisked past all those trees and she again banged every house. Give me some mustard seeds. I need a fistful of mustard seeds. Of course we can give you. We can give you bags full of mustard. We've grown crops of mustard this season, said the villagers. But I hope there was no death in your family. What are you saying, Kissa? We lost our mother. She went to the other house. Don't mention about death. We've recently lost our brother. The third house. In some house, there was a sister who had died. There was some mother who had died, some parent, some friend. She couldn't find a single house where death had not visited. She was almost giving up. She sat next to the river, Ganga. By now, her entire sari, entire clothes were smelling of death. One last time, she looked at the sky. All those lights were dimming by now. They were fainting away in the dark. And that moment, as if suddenly whatever Buddha said started making sense. Aren't we all like those lights? Sometimes we are bright, sometimes we are gone. She took a glance at the child, and with her own hands, she let the dead child go in the river. After many months, when she met Buddha, she said, "Thank you, Buddha, for giving me the story of the lost and the found." Thank you. That was a very short version. I hurried because I wanted to share. The sharing is what is going to enrich us to the topic. Thank you. I'm really eager to listen to, is there a texture? Is there a smell that stayed with you? What is it that you saw in the story? Let's all share. We have another 15 minutes. Let's go to the sharing part.
So Priyanka, I have not only read this particular story before, but also heard it from several times from other tellers. But this telling was all new for me. And I think it's especially because of those, I hate to say it, but it's very true, the senses that you involved throughout the story. And the one thing that stayed with me, which really, it was something else before, but then when you said that the smell of death clung to her, and that she could, that part was very overridingly, I could just feel that.
Thank you. So Shraddha says she could smell death. She could reach there. Anybody else?
For me, it was like when the mother was cuddling the baby, folding, running her fingers through her beautiful hair, that softness I could feel. And, when she was feeding the baby also, I could feel that motherly touch. And when she was running through the forest to different houses to get the mustard seeds and the baby was clinging to her chest, I could feel that heaviness as if I was running. And, that lips, when you said the lips were dry and cracked for a moment, somewhere, my fingers went over my lips. And as Shraddha said about that sari, it was smelling death. That is something very new. It has given a different kind of a sense altogether. I can't express it, but that was very heavy, in fact.
Thank you so much.
It's a new experience. It's a new experience of listening to the story. As Shraddha said, I heard this story a couple of times, but this is a new experience.
You heard the story a couple of times. In fact, I would like to share that the story is in the CBSE syllabus of class 10th English.
Yeah,
We teach,
yes.
yes. But today, congratulations, you lived the story. You could feel the heaviness of Kisa Gautami running, the heaviness of carrying a dead child. And when we spoke about the roughness of the desk under the elbow of Barry, from those experiences, we have reached the awareness of her feeling the coarseness of lips that are dried, crying and crying.
Yeah, and that old man who could see her eyes swollen, and the light that emitted under the tree where Buddha sat. So such beautiful explanation. I mean, say the description, you have created a vivid imagery in front of the eyes. It was so visual.
so much. Thank you for observing the sights. You could spot what you could see. Did you visualize the tree? Was it big?
Yes,
Which
yes,
tree?
yes.
Which tree could you visualize? There is no right
I
or
could
wrong.
visualize.
A
I could
banyan tree?
visualize a banyan tree. Yes.
Amazing. I didn't even give you this fact. I didn't even mention this. But you could visualize a banyan tree. Yes, Buddha was sitting under
Yes.
a banyan. Thank you.
When you said it was huge, that has come in front of the eyes. Like,
And what color was the light? Was it white? Was it yellow?
it was yellow.
Amazing. Could you see the feet of Buddha?
Yeah, as she was dropping those flowers at his feet, I could, I was even feeling that, the fingers, just my fingers, I was sitting with my, legs crossed over. That fingers, in fact, were moving inside. The toe was moving inside.
Thank you so much. I'm touched because the magic is done. The magic is done. Your words tell me that the magic is done. Yes. What
Yeah.
was Buddha wearing? What was Buddha wearing?
He was in some kind of a saffron, cloth. I was imagining him that way, with some kind of dangling earrings, with his head, braid tied on his head. And when you described the beauty on his face, his lips were like lotus, his eyes half closed and all. I was in fact picturizing everything. Had I got a pen and a paper, I would have scribbled a picture.
Please do that. Please draw whatever came in your imagination.
Yes,
Maya,
yes.
what color was the sari? What color was the sari that Kisa Gautami wore for you?
Certainly something like pink and purplish kind of.
Okay,
I was
okay.
saying here. That's
Let's
right.
hear from
I,
others. Let's hear from others.
yes, yes, yes.
What material do you think was the fabric that she was wearing? Kisa Gautami. Was it soft? Was it clingy? Was it stiff and starched? How was it?
I
For
think it
me,
was soft.
yes, that's what comes to me. It was soft. It was crushed.
She has a baby. She wouldn't want the baby to be next to something hard or rough or stuff.
Exactly. You have a fabric here called malmal. Mal. It's very soft. It's very cotton. What are we heading towards? What are we doing? What are we learning? Anybody? Yes?
We are living. We are living with the story. We are living this with the story, with that
Yes.
moment, with that
Yes.
whatever
And how are
different rules are going through.
and are the senses facilitating living the story?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Because when we look at a dog flower, I go back to my childhood when my dad showed me that this is how the flower can bark. Because when I look at the daffodils, I have some memory of some poem I read. Because humans means senses. We have been gifted this. And if we put that gift in our stories, we have taken our stories to the next level. So we don't learn the story. We never feel, oh my God, will I be able to make the children happy? Will my audience like my telling today? No, please stop it. Just become the story. Don't tell the story for your audience. Try telling the story for yourself. Try doing justice to the story and not the audience. Because when you live the story, it cannot go wrong. You don't choose the stories. The stories choose you. We are in the last 8 minutes of the session, and I would love to hear what are we leaving with? What stayed with you? Barry?
Well, I'm just reminded, I went and got a book that I love called Writing as a Second Language. It's written by Donald Davis, who is one of the preeminent storytellers in the United States. I would put him at the very top. And it's a book about writing for upper elementary students. But when he talks about story, he says, he has one thing that says, a story is a picture. A story is a picture I have in my head that I would like for you to have in your head.
How beautiful.
You know, and if I do not go through the mental pre-writing process of picture development, I'm frozen and can sit for hours without any production. But I just like that image that I see it, and by extension, I think I smell it, I hear it, and I have to use my language so that you will see it and hear it and smell it and feel it as well.
Beautiful. I'm so glad you shared that. We are not telling, we are actually showing. And senses help you make it visible. So, my picture and bringing it to you. I think you've put the gist there. Thank you so much. This really makes the last piece of the jigsaw. Thank you, Barry.
This workshop has reminded me that we visualize and use the other senses to fully bring the story to the elements of the story to mind. And then, as you say, we bring the story to life, and we can bring the story to life, especially by then becoming one of the characters and speaking and moving as a character. But that is set up by the sensory awareness and expression that you have talked about.
Yes, Eric. I would also like to mention another element, although that's not related to my workshop title, but I absolutely believe, and I'm sure some of us will agree also. Suppose I hear this story today, and then I hear this story after a few months. I may not identify myself with the same character every time, Eric. It depends on the situation of my life and what is it that I'm feeling at the moment. I may be Kissa right now. Rohini may be feeling the heaviness of her tired run. And the next time I hear, I may be just the tree which is emitting the light and assisting in the process. Or maybe I'm the dead baby because something within me has died. So please revisit a story and see which is the character that you identify yourself with at that moment. Does anybody agree with me? We don't have to be
Yes.
the
So,
we don't have to be the hero all the time, do we? No.
So, if I may, interestingly, that's also like sharing a story from different points of view, right? So, we recently did this exercise of telling the Goldilocks and the Three Bears story, but from the POV of a spider that was on the wall of the bear's home. And what was the spider's POV when he sees his little girl coming in and doing all this stuff that she did? So that was a very interesting exercise.
Yes, it is. Of course. How did the bear feel? How did Goldilocks feel? How did the broken chair feel? If we are able to bring the attention of the children to these elements, they can be sensitive that there's always another side to a story. Right? If you hear one version, he will be the hero. If you hear the other version of the fight, he will be the hero. There are always different aspects. Okay, on that beautiful note, we come to the end of this workshop. As I said, I'm enriched. I'm leaving with some fragrance of a split soup. I'm leaving with some beautiful tune in my head. I'm going to YouTube it again and I'm going to relive the song. How six of us danced to the tune of Sign of the Time. One last time, Eric. Can we do that together? Please join in, everyone, as Eric sings for us. 1, 2, 3.
It's a sign
It's a
of the
sign of the
times.
times.
It's the
It's a
sign
sign
of
of
the
the times.
time. La
I
la la la.
I've posted the link to the recording by Petula Clark in the chat section.
Thank you so much. This is going to stay with me for some time.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful workshop.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Let's stay connected.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. It
Thank
was
you, Priyanka.
lovely, a beautiful experience.
Thank you. Have a good
Thank you.
day.